are you guys doing today? Which one? Martian? You learned that on your own? So the black circles are what notes? What are these? Those are quarter notes? Is that everything there? Okay, so what would this one be then? Almost. Aha. And then this one is a whole note. Yeah. It's the same note that it would be. Yeah. We're still waiting on some people.
Yeah, we got one glass in there. Because that's what you're two of us sit down and get this out of my way, please. I knew it. I know you do. But you can't have it. Go to the Dollar Tree. I have a Dollar Tree. Okay, it's so cold in here. What are they, Mom?
Do you have your disc right now?
Quit talking about my mom like it's time.
You forgot it.
What?
Big finger.
Quit talking about mom when it's time. I don't understand. That scares me.
Come on, guys. It's Tuesday. It's not Monday. You guys should have your instruments. Is anyone else missing their instruments? Anyone else get too far?
Yay, I'm awesome! Nasty. You're nasty. Yeah, that's what you said, Jane. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. This is like my favorite day of the year. Go to the Dollar Tree. You can get one of these. I can get like one because I have like four.
This is saxophone.
I can get like a the thing is, I don't have it though. My mom doesn't trust me because she's scared when Bible jumps in to get it. Yes.
Hey, can you take the bunny or something?
No, wait,
Let's take them off. Just for the look. Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Yeah, you can go ahead and close that door. Thank you. I'm Mr. Sarasien, if you guys remember me from before. I'm going to be giving you guys your lesson today, and I'm actually going to be recording it. So, yeah. To be on your best behavior, this is going to go on camera.
Oh, I love YouTube.
So, today we're going to talk about jingle bells, and we're just going to get real kind of in depth in it. We're going to talk about a lot of specific things. So, in jingle bells, every 2 bars we have a little mark. What's that mark called? A breath mark, right. And what do we do in a breath mark? We breathe. And how long do we breathe?
Like 2 seconds. Like 2 seconds.
2 seconds is actually a pretty long breath. That'd be like. That'd be 2 seconds. So it's a pretty quick breath. And where do we breathe from? Do we breathe from our nose or from our mouth? Our mouth. Our mouth. Correct. Okay. So everyone go ahead and go to Jingle Bells. And once we're all set up, we're just going to go ahead and play through it. And we're going to try to only breathe at the breath mark.
Yep, yours. Robin's live there. Like right there. Jingle bells. Cheese. Give me cheese for Christmas. Got it.
No, I just want to play around the group and get on working. We're not playing together.
I'm doing the notes.
Bells ready over here? I'm gonna go ahead and take attendance real quick. Everyone's not playing? We got Tamari. Just say you. Amaya. Anita. Raiden. Talia. Ashton. Taylor. Deontay. Edward. Aaron. Christopher. Henry. Daniel. Ella. She missing today? Okay. Kaya. Violet. Nathan. And Lydia. Did I say anyone's name wrong?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, everyone ready? I think we're all pretty much set up. Okay. Go ahead and put your read in your instructions. What? I just took a Okay. Running out of time. We're already 5 minutes left. Okay. We're going to take it a little slower than that. So, jingle bells, jingle bells.
That's the faster.
Is that a good tempo? I can. That's fine. Okay. Everyone ready? Get your instruments up in playing position. Everyone ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Yeah, you guys are going a bit too fast. Jingle bells, strategy. 1, 2, ready, go. Not at a breath mark. You take a breath anywhere other than a breath mark at all. I should see a lot more hands raised. Some people are taking breaths every few notes. Okay, so let's try it. We're going to play through it one more time, a little bit faster, and I want you to try really hard to only take breaths at the breath mark. Yeah. Does everyone know what a breath mark looks like? Raise your hand if you're not quite sure.
That's a line.
It's a line? It's a little apostrophe. Yeah. You're close. Okay. Yeah.
It's a banana.
Henry, can you scoot over a little bit? So Christopher can Okay, let's try it all together one more time, a little bit faster.
Okay, let's go.
Jingle bells, jingle
She's supposed to be
bells.
like ding, 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 ding. That's
We'll
how-
get there.
That's how good I am.
We'll get there.
Look at that.
1, 2, 1, 2, together, go. Okay, that was a lot better. Raise your hand if you still took a breath other than a breath mark. A couple people. Yeah. But I'm seeing a lot of people over here not taking breaths except for a breath mark. So good job. I heard one extra note over here. Is someone playing an extra just in like the third to last bar. Where it goes C, 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 B, B. Someone's playing an extra B there. Someone's going C, 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 B, B, B. There's only 2 B's, or 3 B's right there. Okay. So just watch out for that. And what else are we doing the longer we play it? We're slowing down. We're slowing down. The longer we get in the song, the slower and slower we get. Probably because it gets a little bit harder. Okay, so we're going to keep playing it. We're pretty much going to play this song the rest of the class. But we're going to go and do a lot more important stuff. So, raise your hand if you know what a phrase is.
Kill them.
Okay, raise your hand if you know what a phrase is. Okay, that's okay.
A what?
A phrase. Yeah, Christopher. What do you think a phrase is? Yeah, a group of words. That's really good. Can you say that again?
A group of words.
A group of words. Okay, so just like in words, music has phrases too. So we take a group of notes, and a small group of notes is called a musical phrase. So now when you read, you guys all read, right? You guys all read. Okay. So when you guys read, do you just read everything in one single tone? Really boring? Sometimes. Is that very fun to read like that? No. Do you talk like that? Do you talk just in one tone of voice and you just don't change your voice at all? Okay. Do you guys change your voice as you talk? You don't just talk in one single tone of voice, because that would be really boring if I gave the entire lesson talking like this, right? Right. Your voice gets louder, it gets softer, depending on what you're talking about. So, quiet real quick. We do the same thing in music. When we're playing a musical phrase, we're going to change how we play. We're not going to play every single note all the same. So, let's go ahead and play the first 2 measures. Just the first 2 measures. I want everyone to play that together. The first 2 measures of Jingle Bells. Everyone ready? First 2 measures. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. It's okay. Okay, so, what do you think that was? A phrase. Good. So, we're going to call this first part a phrase. Why do we know it's a phrase? Someone raise your hand. Yes. What? Okay. Yes. Yes, it's a group of notes. Why does this group of notes go together?
Because they're all the same measure and they're the same note.
Someone raise your hand. Christopher.
Because they're all the same measures.
Well, they're in 2 separate measures, and it's not just because they're the same notes. But that's a good guess. Does anyone else have an idea of why this group of notes is a phrase?
I see a comma.
You see a comma. Go on with that. So what's at the end of this phrase?
Period.
What's it called?
Breath.
A breath mark, yes. So at the end of this phrase, please don't play. At the end of this phrase, we have a breath mark. And that helps us know that this is a phrase. That's the little apostrophe that tells us to take a breath. So if you're talking, you got to take a breath sometime, right? You can't just talk forever and ever take a breath, or you die. You got to breathe. So when we get to the end of a phrase, we take a breath, we take a pause. And we do that in music as well. When we get to the end of a musical phrase, we take a breath. So let's go ahead and play this first phrase. Everyone together, the first two measures, the first phrase. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Okay. Now I want everyone to listen real close, and I'm going to sing this phrase. I'm going to sing it because I don't have a saxophone on me or a clarinet. I'm just going to sing it. So everyone be quiet. Okay. Jingle bells, jingle bells. I'm going to sing it in a couple different ways. Listen, listen, listen. Jingle bells, jingle bells. I'm going to sing it another way. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Second one much better.
Okay, now which one do you guys like that? The first one? The second one? Okay. Raise your hand and don't talk for the first one. Raise your hand and don't talk for the second one. Raise your hand and don't talk for the third one. Raise your hand if you don't know what we're talking about. Okay, so what did I do the second time?
On the second time you went jingle bells, like you got louder.
I got louder. What did I do the third time?
You start off like higher and then you start off like forte and then you got
Yeah. So I started off louder and got softer. So I want us to try the second way. I want us to play it, and we're going to start out quiet, and then we're going to get louder. You guys think you can do that?
No.
Try your best. Try your best. So, yes, we're going to play the first two measures one more time. We're going to start off quiet, and we're going to get louder. Let's try that together. Everyone ready? Yes. Start out piano, do forte. 1, 2, ready, go. Let me just hear the clarinets. Just the clarinets. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Let me hear the saxophone. It's a little harder for you guys to play quiet at first, isn't it? So try really hard to play quiet. And just get a little bit louder. 1, 2, saxes, go. That was better. We got louder. But make sure we still have a good tone, even when we're quiet, even when we're loud. Don't get a little bit too loud. We got a little bit too loud. What?
Nothing's too loud.
We're going to do everyone again. Okay, everyone together, we're going to play that first phrase, and we're going to get a little louder. 1, 2, beginning, go. Good. Let's play the second phrase. So how long is the second phrase? Someone raise your hand. 3. 2 measures, right. So we're going to play the second phrase, and it's the next 2 measures. Yeah. E. Right. Does everyone know where we're at? Okay. Next 2 measures. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Good. So this is a phrase as well. So what do we do throughout this phrase? Right. The notes move around, so they're different from the first phrase. Right? And then what do we not do during the entire phrase, but we do it at the end of the phrase? Yes. Breathe, right. So during the phrase, we don't want to breathe in the middle of the phrase. I wouldn't want to talk and stop in the middle of a sentence. because that prevents you from understanding what I'm trying to say. So when we say a musical phrase, we can't just breathe wherever we want to. We have to breathe at the end of the phrase. Does that make sense? Okay, so take a big breath. We're going to play the second phrase again, and we're not going to breathe till the end of the phrase. The second phrase. 1, 2, ready, go. Are you having trouble with your D? Yeah. Do you want to go and play your D and I can try to help? Okay. Okay, so how do we want to shape this phrase? What do we want to do? Someone raise your hand and give me an idea. Let me check your name. Henry?
You want to like the first measure of it, like just want its tongue, and then you just want its tongue.
Well, that's the articulation, but I'm talking more dynamics. Remember how we got louder on the first phrase? What do we want to do on this phrase? Do we want to do the same thing as the first phrase, or do we want to do something different? Yes.
Like, shout out, like, yeah, shout out, really loud.
Okay, let's try that. Let's start this phrase out loud, and let's get quieter as we play. The second phrase. So, jingle all the way. Let's try that together. Good idea. The second phrase, the third and fourth measure. 1, 2, ready, go. What? What? Oh, you were ready. I'm sorry. Okay, let's try it one more time.
Where's the beginning?
Jingle all the way. Make sure I can still hear that note at the end. Don't completely drop out. I still want to hear that note at the end. All 4 beats of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we play Titanic on this?
Maybe one day. Not today. Let's try the second phrase. Starting loud, get soft. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Okay. Start out just a little bit too loud over here. And make sure we drop off. Okay, so let's try both of those phrases together. Yes? What'd you say?
We can start from the beginning.
That's exactly what I just said. We're going to try both those phrases together. We're going to start from the beginning. Yes, ready.
Oh, we were on that one? I thought we were on the one.
No, today's not a game. You guys already got games for this. I know y'all can play it. I want us to play it together.
I don't know why you don't
Okay.
I'm not okay.
What? What do you mean by high or low? You should say loud and soft. Because high and low is pitch. A high note is different from a low note. Okay. What are we starting out? What dynamic are we starting out at the beginning? Please don't play. I need everyone's attention.
What is that?
What dynamic are we starting at the beginning? We're going to be quiet and we're going to get what? Forte. And then the next 2 bars we're going to start with what? And we're going to get PM. Okay, where do we take a breath? At the breath mark, the apostrophe. Yes. How many breaths are we taking throughout these 4 bars?
2. No, 1.
1. Because we're not going on after this. 2. So just 1. Or 2 if you count the 1 in the beginning. You should always take a breath before you play. So let's go ahead and play the first 4 bars. All together. 1, 2, ready, breathe. Good. We got a little bit behind over here. Let's try it one more time. Mr. Sarasien. We're starting out quiet. We're getting loud the first 2 bars. And then loud. No, still be loud. No, quiet, loud, loud. Yeah, make sense? Let's try it all again. First 4 bars. 1, 2, ready, breathe. Good. Make sure you still have good Make sure we still have good tone quality and we're still staying in tune. We're all playing the same note as each other. So listen across to other people around you and make sure we're all playing about the same note. Does that make sense? Okay, let's go on to the next phrase. How long is the next phrase? Two measures. Yes. Okay, let's play the next phrase. All together. We're going to decide that in a little bit. So the next phrase. 1, 2. Raise your hand if you know where the next phrase starts. Great.
My face is looking straight at me.
Okay. Well, for clarinet it begins with an F. For saxophone it begins with a C, right? Measure 5, the fifth measure. And it's 2 measures. Okay. All together now. The third phrase. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Try one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Okay. And then so, what do we want to do for this phrase? Someone raise your hand. Someone, go ahead. Do we want to start out piano and then do what? So let's try starting out quiet and getting loud. Let's try that. Dun, 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 dun. 1. No, everyone. 1, 2, ready, go. Any other ideas? Do we want to stick with that? Is that okay? Do we want to try steady? So this one we could just stay the same. You guys want to try that? Okay, so keep it at about a mezzo forte bar. Yes. We're going to get to that. I want to work through each phrase, decide a shaping for each phrase, and then we'll play the whole thing. Okay. Let's try the third phrase. Keep it steady. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Okay. Let's go on to the next phrase, the fourth phrase. So this measures 7 and 8 at the end of the first line. Make sense? I'm gonna start calling people out. Deontay. Okay. Aaron? What? Can you give me a shaping idea for this phrase?
What is that?
No, it's the next after that. Just a second, I can't hear that. Can you repeat that? One more time. Okay. Do you guys want to just say the note names or just finger it?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys running out of breath from trying to play the whole phrase? Okay. Let's go ahead and sing that with note names, and everyone try a shaping of your own. And then we'll do it all together. Play. 1, 2, fourth phrase, go. Okay, we're just going to say the note names for the 7th and 8th measures. Just say the note names and figure along on your instrument and sing a shaping of your own. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Dun, 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 dun. We're on the last 2 measures of the first one. No. Yeah. Let's go ahead and play that phrase. Play it all together. 1. Together. 1, 2, ready, go. So let's go ahead. We're going to keep it steady and then play the last note just a little bit louder. Does that sound good for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's play the entire first line On our first phrase, we start out what? Piano. And we get? And then we start out? And then we go to? And then we stay? Mezzo forte until the very last note. Okay. And then the other thing we want to focus on in a phrase is what? What? Breathing. Right. We want to focus on breathing only at the breath marks. Let's try it all together. 1, 2, first line, go. Please don't go on. Okay. The only thing is, I think we were just a little bit too loud on the third phrase and the fourth phrase. So let's go ahead and hold back on those phrases just a little bit. Let's try the first line one more time. Everyone ready? You're going to have that when you try to not breathe as much. It's a little harder. Let's try it one more time. Is everyone ready? The whole first line. 1, 2, ready, go. So, for the second line, a lot of it is the same as the first line, right? So let's keep the shaping pretty much the same for the second line as we do the first line. Can we try that? So the second line will also start out what? Piano. And we'll get, and then after that we will stay, and then go back to piano, and then stay mezzo forte. The third phrase is going to be mezzo forte. Okay, so that's like in the middle. It's not too loud, not too soft. And then we'll have a bit of a louder final note. Does that make sense for everyone? We're just playing the second one. Do you guys think we can do the whole thing?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you want to do the whole thing. Okay, I think we'll try it. Let's try the first line and the second line all together. And we want to focus on the dynamic phrasing and what else? The volume, the dynamics, yes. What else? Aaron. Did you raise your hand? Or you don't? Oh, okay. What else do we want to focus on? Tempo. Right. We want to stay a consistent tempo. We don't want to slow down. Breathing. Make sure we only take breaths at the breath works. Let's try the whole thing all together. 1, 2, beginning, go. Mr. Singers, do you have a question? Okay, so I thought that sounded really good. It's sounding a lot better. I'm hearing better tone quality. I'm hearing longer notes. Everyone's playing the full length of the whole note, and a lot of people are playing the full length of the half notes. And there's not all these breaks. We're hearing breaths at the right spot. Can you guys hear the phrasing? Do you hear it when you're playing?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the benefits of phrasing? What does this do to the music? Henry.
Like if you were,
Guys, I can't hear Henry.
if you're like in a concert. What? If you were in a concert, if you were in a concert, Chris. Stop. concert, and like the people in the audience weren't like really enjoying it. Like they liked the music, but it was like all the same, and it was all boring. And when you like went forte and piano and mezzo forte, it would like it might like alert them that it's becoming better.
Okay, so good. So it makes it a lot more interesting. It's not all the same. It's not boring. The audience is going to be more captivated by the music. And that's the benefit of phrasing. And what are the two important things that we talked about for phrasing? Someone give me one. Other than Henry. Yeah. Breathing. Breathing in the right spot. And what's the other thing we worked on? Yes. Volume, dynamics, yes. Everyone go ahead and pack up. That's the lesson for today. Thank you very much.
Good job. Very, very quick announcement. Team for timeout, super quick. I'm glad to see you all. Welcome back from break. Mr. Simpson, I know, was recording today, so I didn't want to come in here and interrupt. But I have something important announcement to make. On Friday, you do not, guys, listen. You do not need to bring your instruments because the choir is on a field trip on Friday. So what's going to happen is, yeah.